Three, two, one. What's going on, everyone? I am Mark. I have a YouTube channel called Trading with a Dummy, and this is.
This is Mo from OTB Clubhouse. I'm an option trader and a full-time investor.
And you are listening to episode 2 of Money Market Truth. So let's get into it today. Elon and Twitter. I guess I'll start off with my thoughts.
Yeah,
Straight up, you already know in episode 1, I talked about Elon Musk, and personally, I think he is a piece of shit fucking liar. And I don't like the guy. I think he is Lex Luthor in person. If you're familiar with Superman, everyone likes him, but you don't really know what he's doing behind closed doors. And to me, he's like one of the biggest market manipulators out there, man. I mean, this whole Twitter shit is like I told you last week. That I expected the stock to basically drop the minute that there was sort of any news of him not taking the seat or whatnot. And what happened? He didn't take the seat, and the stock dropped by $10. And then this
yeah,
morning, he announced that he wanted to buy Twitter, and the stock fucking ran up to like 11% pre-market. Then it slowly started going down, and now here at the close, this is the latest news. Elon Musk says he's not sure he'll be able to buy Twitter after $43 billion bid. And this is
yeah,
the shit I'm talking about with him, man. Like everything with him, I don't think a lot of people understand. And I know he's got this huge cult following. You even said it yourself. You're like, he's got this huge cult-like following. He's basically the Scientology of technology when it comes to this, just everything, tech. And my biggest issue with him is that he will say stuff like Dogecoin, and people will buy and put a lot of money into Dogecoin. And next thing you know is that it ends up tanking, right? It goes up to
yeah,
70 cents and it tanks, right? But so there's a lot of people, I think there's a lot of people out there who've lost money off of Elon Musk because every time he says something, people get excited and they buy at the all-time high, like Dogecoin, like Twitter, like Shiba Inu. Everything that he does and says, it takes off temporarily, and then he changes his mind and the shit fucking tanks. And I don't think people realize the fact that this man, like, he made most of his money off of government contracts. That's how Tesla got made. Let's just be real. It got made because he was able to live off of the subsidies that the government was giving. He's got this great relationship with the government, regardless of the fact that Biden is going to mention him or not in conferences. He's got a contract with the military with Starlink. He's got a contract for SpaceX, like millions and millions and millions of dollars. And then he still acts like he's for the people. And I think that's just a farce. I think it's just a way to manipulate the retail investors into believing him because he's acting like he's for the people, but in reality, he's just another one of those fucking rich billionaires who's taking advantage of the system, in my opinion. What's your thoughts?
Um, I don't like for me, I like to pick this like just based on facts, right? So what are the facts? He bought 9.3 percent into Twitter. And then I don't know if you noticed the moment that was announced, another tweet came out saying that they're gonna cap him at 15%. Did you see that? Twitter
I
is
did
gonna
not.
Okay, so they said Twitter is going to cap him at 15%, meaning that he can't buy more than a certain percent. After that, he was offered a board seat, which he declined. And when he did, I remember having a conversation saying that one of the reasons why he declined is because he wants more shares. Because it makes no sense getting in 9.1. He's not an investor. He wants active control. He doesn't want to be passively invested in the business, right? We know that now. I don't know if you watched the TED Talks for Elon today. I sent you the link. I don't know if you were on earlier today. So one of the things they said was if they decline, right? If they say no, do you have a plan B to Elon? And Elon said, yes, I have a plan B. So I think there's a lot of things that he's not telling us either, which makes sense. The only thing I think about is if they say no, if Twitter says no, can the shareholders sue the board? And if they can, like, how does that process work? That's one thing. And he could single handedly tank if he sells that 9.1%. It brings the stock, I think it'll take it down under 35, but I think it goes lower because, like you said, if he sells, a lot of people will sell it with him. Make sense so far? Right?
Absolutely.
So I honestly, like, for me, like when I'm looking at this stuff, I don't really look at who he is a person. But what I've been saying is he's got a strategy behind it. This isn't the Doge pump thing. This is more than that. That's all I'm saying. Um, I think he's gonna figure out a way to buy this. If he doesn't, then I'd be shocked because he usually does get his way. So that's my opinion about it. I don't think he sells.
So, but fundamentally, it still doesn't change Doge, right? I mean, not Doge,
No,
Twitter. It still
yeah.
fundamentally doesn't change Twitter. So what? You can do a $3 whatever, get a fucking check mark. Who cares? In the end of the day, are they a profitable company? Are they bringing in a lot of money? And they are not. And it doesn't matter if he's on a board seat or not. All he's going to really do is say, "Oh, free speech, free speech." But he's also been known to censor people. I mean, look at him. He's how many times has he not sold a car to someone that he likes or doesn't like? I mean, it's happened multiple times.
You think that Elon becoming a shareholder or becoming full control of the company, it's not going to change the profitability of the company?
No, no, I don't think that anybody was able to do it prior. What makes him so much different?
Dude, it's all about the leader. Like, that's all. Like if you work, I know you work different jobs. I worked retail all my life. I've seen people have teams with not making any profit to having a new leader and completely reshaping. It's all about the team and it's all about the leader, and it's top down always. So if he comes in, look, he's not going to go over all his ideas on Twitter. That's one of his ideas. I'm pretty sure he's got smart people working for him. And I'll tell you, and whenever I've looked at a company, I look at leadership and a team. Tesla wasn't making money before. Tesla is making money now. Um, I think we read an article together. It was something like the EV market is roughly 8% right now, and of the total car out there, and they expect it to go to 48% by was it 2025. And then if Tesla goes up by that much, you could see how much impact they're going to have. And then one of the things you got to watch that interview that came on where Elon said that buying Twitter wasn't a monetary decision. It's not about economics, but he's a leader. He knows what he's doing in terms of making money. I think if he takes leadership, it will change the shape of the company. Everything I know about business and organization structure, it doesn't matter what product you sell as long as you have a good team. You could always pivot. So what we know Twitter as is like people tweet, there's bots, there's I don't know if you know. Do you know you could do paid ads on Twitter?
Yeah, of course. You could do it on Instagram. You could do it on Facebook. You could do it on
Most
everywhere, of
people
course.
don't know about it because most people don't pay for it. Like
Mhm.
Twitter right now, in terms of making money, is really useless. They're not doing much to make any money. Um, but I think if the leadership does change, it will make an impact. We're gonna know soon what's gonna happen. It's
Yeah,
gonna make, but it's gonna make Twitter the best stock for traders.
do you
For
not?
trading,
But on that note, you don't think that Jack Dorsey was he considered a good leader? Do you consider he wasn't a
so,
good leader?
so I don't know if he was playing in the area of his own strength and what kind of issues he had. Look, so I've worked for a lot of big corporations, and a lot of people think it's okay. It's very easy to make decision. The company that I worked for, man, for something so simple, it took months. So I feel like decision making, the red tape, it depends. It's not only the CEO, it's the team too. So we're gonna see, but it's gonna make an impact. If you say Elon takes over and nothing changes, I don't think. I think a lot of things will change. Why do you think Tesla today is at what it is? You don't think it was anything to do with Elon?
I mean, of course, it has to do with Elon, but that's the thing. I think people are so obsessed with Elon Musk, and they're not really
Agreed.
paying
Yeah,
attention.
people get subjective. That's what I'm saying. Let's not be subjective. People they get like you said. If Elon said something, don't go blindly buy it. Right? That's what you shouldn't be doing. You still want to do your DD. I agree with you. Doge is still like a meme stock, not a meme stock, meme crypto coin. Like I wouldn't touch it, but that's what people do, and that's why we have this podcast because there's people on Twitter with 100K, 400K followers and they pump and dump stocks, right? Our job is to educate them on like don't blindly follow even if it's me or you. You have to do your DD like it's like kind of like giving people perspective. Would you like just take your hard-earned money and put it somewhere just because someone has more followers online? Like straight answer is no, but I think people get tempted because it's free money and then they put in those big screenshot. There's a there's cars, there's watches, there's girls. That's kind of what they do, and people do kind of get attracted. There's certain triggers, and those are triggers that certain people get attached to, and it's usually their emotions with the money. And that's those are the ones that get fooled. Would you buy Doge because Elon tweeted?
No, I bought Doge, and then when everyone was saying it was going to go to a dollar on a Saturday Night Live, I sold right before he got on stage. I was
Hmm.
smart. I didn't buy. I didn't keep it.
Sell the buy the is it buy the rumor, sell the news, right? That's what you did.
Correct. I mean, since this would be a good lead way into what we're going to discuss today, which was psychology, and you were just talking about it, right? How
Yeah.
people end up falling into this trap of just going by whatever someone says on Twitter or whatnot, which, by the way, is like one of the worst things to do. I've made that mistake as well. Um, so, I mean, what's your thoughts?
I look, last episode we talked about you got to be careful for this. We talked about triggers, red flag. That's looking outward. Now we want to say let's look inward, right? Because you got to take 100% accountability of the actions you make, right? That's all on you. Like if you made a mistake, if you went and bought Doge, it's your fault 100%. Now, I'm not saying like if he should or he shouldn't do it, but looking inward, the reason why you want to look inward is that's what you can control. That's the truth. If you look outward, you can't really do anything about Elon or Twitter or them doing whatever they're doing. But when we look at stuff that we're doing, we can actually change that. That's the only thing we can change. The hardest thing for you to do, or most people to do, especially people in a relationship, they put full effort in changing the person they're with. Could be business partner, could be anything, right? That's they spend all their life doing that. Um, and if they spend half the time on just changing themselves, they'd have such a better life. And it comes with making decisions too. So you kind of have to look inwards for everything. And the point I'm getting at is everything comes down to psychology. Mark, you could know 1/100th of what I know, but you could still be a better trader than me because you have a sound mindset in terms where you follow things without emotions. Whereas I know everything about MACD. I've read 10 books and then I have 15 indicators and I get them fully. But my decision making is so slow. My execution is so slow because I overthink everything. And that's what's happening. And I was watching, was it, I don't know if it was CNBC or what it was, and they said people that pay for subscription or courses usually end up buying more and then end up buying more. And there's no end to how much they buy because we're trained since we were kids that when you don't understand something, you learn more. In trading, and you're going to see that in trading in the zone too, when you are doing something wrong in trading, what you want to do is you want to take a step back and start focusing on one or two things, sorry, and just get really good at it, and that will make your decision making much faster. So that's kind of what I want to talk about today, Ed.
No, I agree with you 100%. But again, we're in this space right now, like you just mentioned, where you have all these people on Instagram or Twitter or whatever who are being really flashy and showing you this exceptional lifestyle you could have by trading, right? And I was reading this book, and it was a pretty cool quote, and I posted it on my Twitter page. But it says, like, for example, one of the rules that everyone should have is cut their losses, right? You need to cut your losses. But how do you explain it to someone when he or she is in an environment that is in a perpetual motion that will offer you the possibility of your negative play to go positive, right? So how do you tell someone you can just cut your losses? But if people see it so often where you can be down 80%, then all of a sudden go all the way up and you're at 200%. So it's the psychology of things, but how do you really try to explain it to somebody if all you see online is win, win, win?
Yeah. No, that's the truth. The thing is, that's why you have to have your own risk management, right? And no one can define that for you. So a lot of people become cryptic on Twitter, and they don't give what you're talking about, which is like measurable actions, right? That's what you're asking for. You're asking for, and then there's people that have measurable actions that don't tie with the market. So hey guys, have your stop loss at 20%, profit at 20%, can't go wrong. That's bullshit. That doesn't align with the market. What if every time you wait for 20% and the market flips at 19? What are you going to do? The only thing you can manage, man, only thing is your position size and scaling in and out. That's all you could do. So making your trade free is the only true way of managing or doing spreads. There's no other way of managing your risk.
100%. Did you just shit on me by saying the 20% profit and
No,
20%
no.
loss? I did a whole video on that like months ago where I
You
was like,
did?
hey, you can do your OCO orders. You can set up for 20% profit, 20% loss. So no, but I definitely
No, I
agree with you,
like
dude.
as a new trader, bro, this is how we were taught. Like this is what I was taught too. And this is what I was teaching people. Hey, if you're a new trader, take 20, 25%. That number doesn't mean shit to the market,
100%.
right?
And I think it's another thing I read in the book where we're saying that a lot of people get in this fucked up mental space where they believe like the market changed or their strategy changed, right? But the reality is the market hasn't changed and your strategy hasn't changed. You as a person have changed emotionally and you're not following your rules that you have established
Yeah.
yourself, which is also pretty interesting. And I love the fact that you just said, like, people on Twitter and Instagram, they're real cryptic about the shit that they post sometimes, right? And it's funny because today I think I answered like 4 DMs in my IG page where people are like, hey, man, is there any way you can help me out? Because with the futures, they've been seeing me posting my future stuff. They're like,
Yeah.
I'm doing terrible. I don't know what's going on. I'm doing everything. And the person who taught me the strategy is like not really even giving me good feedback.
Yeah.
And the reality is because the fucking strategy doesn't fucking work. And that person who taught you that strategy, it's bullshit strategy. And you can go out there and find other strategies, but ultimately you need to play with it. You need to see that it works with paper trading. And if it works, then it comes to the psychological aspect of things. Because like we said, I think in the last podcast, that you can have a great strategy, but 80% of it is really your mindset and your psychology when it comes to getting in and out of a trade. And again, if you're surrounding yourself constantly and you're being inundated with constantly people telling you, I won, I'm winning. You start thinking, is it me? And what am I doing wrong? It's like I'm studying, I'm practicing, I'm doing all these practice trades. I'm been on paper money for 6 months. I'm doing all this stuff, X, Y, and Z, and I'm still not successful at this. What am I doing wrong? And the worst fucking part is that some of these people that are out there, they point the finger and say, you're the problem. You're the reason why it's not working. But in reality, that's maybe not necessarily the truth. The strategy may not actually work.
So, like, I'll give you two scenarios, and then you can be honest. You've been to different Discord.
Yes.
You start as a new trader. You come to a Discord, and every time you see an alert in the profit channel, all you see is profits. Every time you see comments, it's profits, but you're losing money. Are you going to speak up? You're not going to.
No.
It's going to be very hard for you to speak up. Second group, people are just being honest. It's not about profit loss. Like people are saying, I had a rough week. Here's how I fucked up. Not here's how market fucked me up, or here's what Trump did or Putin did. Fucking Putin. You get
Putin.
yeah, man, I'm hungry. But you get the point. Our environment is subconsciously training us, right? As a new trader, though, you're gonna follow those habits and they're gonna stick with you. So you have to be with people in the right environment. The winning part sucks, but that's kind of what we do on social media too. How many, and I do this shit too, man. I'm pretty sure you do the same shit. Like culturally, I'm taught
I
like,
don't.
yo, no, listen,
Not playing.
culturally, we're taught that yo, if you're kind of sad, do your own thing. Don't go around telling people. Like I'm talking about my culture that you're sad. Like that's kind of like I don't know if I'm saying it right, but it's culturally like, yo, don't be like talking about how you're always because it comes out negative. You're sad, you don't have money. So you always want to be positive, right? And that I think misdirects on social media. I'm not even talking about money, not talking about flashy car. I'm talking about people that are the most depressed and sad, post the happiest pictures on Instagram. And that's a fact. People that overshare on social media are usually the most depressed, and I think that is now being marketed as like for selling products or brands by like saying happiness equals money, which it's not. It's far. They're not correlated. They're not linear, right? It does make it easier for you to be happy if you have money, but it doesn't mean if you're happy. I know a lot of rich people that are miserable. So, but like back to our trading part, man, fuck, like I don't blame them, and there's nothing you can do. It's kind of like you literally have to become really conscious on what you're doing and what you're saying. And me and you have that conversation. You probably think I'm crazy. Sometimes, like, yo, don't say this, because these words will go in your subconscious and create a meaning that you don't understand.
No, absolutely. And I have changed my mindset, I would say, because when you came to Orlando, we hung out and stuff, and you had those conversations with me a lot where you're like, bro, stop always being so negative about yourself, right?
Yeah.
So the fuck what, you had one bad trade. You had 10 good trades. Like, so what, you didn't you doing a job that you may not like, but you're getting paid a lot of money. So there's a lot of that out there that I 100% agree with you. And the reason, like, you're really good with the psychology aspects of things. That's what I noticed. That's why I loved your group when I initially came in there, because you're different than most other people. I like we've spoken about this before
Yeah.
on my channel, where you say like, "Hey man, I messed up today. My mind wasn't right or whatever," and you apologize. But you've been really good with the psychological aspect of things, and I'm noticing more and more people that is probably their weakest aspect when it comes to trading and investing, even investing. Because look at it, man. If you really think about it, it doesn't matter what you buy. If you hold it okay, I wouldn't say it doesn't matter what you buy. If you buy good quality companies
Good,
and you
dude.
hold it long
If
time,
you're
you'll be
telling
fine.
someone to buy Apple, you're not a genius,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
We talked
you'll be
about that. Like,
yes, you'll be fine. Even if
yeah.
it goes down $20, you will be fine 5 to 10 years. But psychologically, some people have issues with seeing it go down. Right? I don't know how many times. Like, shout out to my friend, he knows who he is. But like, I think once a week he hits me up. He's like, bro, I think I'm gonna sell Square. I'm like, dude, don't. He's like, I don't, man, I just can't handle it. It's like, bro, do you believe in a company? Yes. Then just hold it another 5 to 10 years, bro. It's gonna come back. It's going to come back eventually. It may take long, but it will come back. But how many people will actually not sell? A lot of people will take L's in investing. And I think that's like the dumbest way to honestly lose money, is when you buy shares and you sell them. But going back to just trading in general, it's hard. It's hard psychologically for that not to fuck with you when you have losses and when you see people constantly winning. So my question to you, because you're so good with this stuff, what steps do you think traders can take, and investors, this applies to both, that can minimize the psychological trauma to this game?
Well, I like this is again, fuck. I'm not saying anything is stolen from the book Trading in the Zone. Assume the loss, man. Like, how many of us are assuming the loss when you get into a trade? Do you tell yourself, yo, if I'm wrong, I'm gonna lose this much? No, most people say, if I'm right, I make this much. That makes sense, right? If you're not expecting the loss, that's when you're gonna be sad. And then the second thing is fucking position size, dude. I did not know what position size was when I first started trading. It was full port or lotto. I didn't know anything in between. Port size is how comfortable you are. So let's break it down. A lot of people say they have 50K. And I had two people join in last week, and one guy made 20K a week, one guy made 5K. And I told them, you guys are making a terrible mistake. You guys are going to blow your port. And I'll explain you how. So let's say you're playing with 50K. What's your risk tolerance? Meaning, how much are you willing to lose, right? And how much do you want to make? So with 50K, do you want to make another 50K in options, which is not a big deal. It's 100% return. But how much are you willing to lose? A lot of people are saying, yo, I can't lose more than 2K. They have 50K, but they can't lose more than 2K. So would you recommend them playing with 50K? Absolutely not, right? So for new people, if 2K is all you're willing to lose, I would play with 2K. When you're playing with 2K, I mean you put 2K in your account. Now that you have 2K in your account, I would always recommend you play with $1,000. $1,000 always stays cash for something, some news. That's where I make most of the money. Today, Biden says something and market starts crashing. You have that 1,000 liquid sitting, you can go in. With the remaining 1,000 that you have, the way you look at it, and you guys have the cash problem, meaning the cash has to settle, or you have the 3 trade in Canada, you could trade as many times as you want. We don't have that issue. So with 2K, I would look at it, okay, how many trades do you want to take in a week? I'd say 4. So each trade could be $500, right? So now let's say you're in a $500 trade and your stop loss level checks you out at 25, 30%. You're not going to be pissed losing $150. What people are doing, and that's what the guy did. He took his 50K, dude. You saw the profit screenshot. He took a 50K, put it in Amazon puts, and it worked. He made a total of 12%, which was 12K in one day. But that's stupid, because if it went the other way, right, you know how much he would have lost in this market on fucking OPEX week. So I'm like, you can't do that anymore. Put that money away. Like, that's what I would do. You shouldn't be playing with 50K, because he's like, I'm sweating when I'm trading with 50. I'm like, of course you're sweating. He's like, okay, cool. So that's the second part, like size appropriately. And third is don't compare. And this is in life general. Like, fucking don't compare your gains with other people's gain. We tend to look higher, usually. People that tend to look lower become arrogant. You don't want to do that. You just want to look at yourself and see if you're getting better. You just got to be grateful. It's harder to say that, and people might like bitch at me for saying that, because they'd be like, yo, fuck, you could say that because you're making money. The thing is, there's been a point where I was down and like zero bank balance and was like negative $8,000 in my credit card. And then the gratefulness was like I had a son. So you could always find reasons to be grateful, or you could always find reason to not be grateful. I have people, friends, family members that have 20, 30, 40x than I do, but they're always looking up, comparing, and they're like, shit, that person bought this person did this. So compare, that's fucking mindset that we've been talking about. Because look, so here's what you're going to see. The most cryptic people will say, yeah, man, I don't want to call this out, but I made 200% on it. And you'll be like, okay, cool. But then they're not telling you about the 8 other trades that didn't work out. Right? So you don't know truly how much they made. And in my humble opinion, I don't think anyone can truly tell how much anyone else makes. No one can. I don't care. You fucking post a screenshot, videos, everything can be made up. And so you shouldn't rely someone's genuinity in the money they're making, because how do you know they didn't put 100K on fucking Zoom earning and they made $1 million, and for the rest of the year they were down $500,000? The statement will show positive $500,000, right? They could have, like, there's no way. So I think you should see if people are giving you a system that works for you. The system might work for them. Like I told you, I used to overtrade. It was a bad habit, and I was doing about 80 to 90% success rate. People were still losing. Well, because I was fucking calling out 15 plays, and most people are exhausted after the 3 plays because they're like, what is this guy doing? Right? And no one's going to follow me like you've been. Okay, so he's been wrong once, he's been wrong twice. Chances are, oh, the third one does well. The fourth one, they follow the actually one, and then they lose. So if someone isn't giving you a system that actually works, the only system that works is risk management. That's your biggest technical indicator, which is you're into 4 different plays. Let's say you're up 2 or 300%, which you know options normal. You sell half. The whole problem of people holding it to 500 to 1,000% has created a mentality that that's the norm. It's not. But sorry, I went in that whole speech. But
No,
those are
dude,
the 3 things.
I think you hit everything on the nose, and exactly what I was trying to get at. That's the reason why I said, what's your thought on that, man? Because I think you said it all, man. There's really nothing I feel like is else to say here for to end our podcast, because we are out of time. But you definitely hit it on the nose. So if you guys take anything away from this entire podcast, that last 5 minutes that you went on that rant, that's all the gems that you really need when it comes to it. So, yeah, man, do you have any closing statements besides that?
Not really. Just like what we said. Just be grateful. Like, be happy, be grateful with everything you have. There's always you can always find a reason to complain.
Yeah, and take your time. Everyone needs to take their time. Don't rush and think that you're gonna be a millionaire or making 6 figures overnight. It's gonna take time, and it's a process. But well, guys, everyone, you guys were listening to Money Market Truths. We do a podcast once a week. The visual will come out 2 days after, typically 2 to 3 days after the podcast on Spotify. We are on Stitcher, we're on Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts as well. So make sure you guys follow us and subscribe. Also find us on YouTube at Money Market Truths. My name is Mark, and once again, I have my own YouTube channel as well called Trading with a Dummy. And where can they find you? Well,
you can find me on Instagram at OTB Clubhouse, or check out my website, motrading.com.
all right. Appreciate it, Mo, and we see you guys next week.